Hey everyone, the Germaniac back again. Jesus. Bringing you another video. So today we have an article by The Guardian. Far-right AfD leader vows to campaign for Brexit-style EU exit vote in Germany. I am actually getting very tired of anytime far right. I know it makes people click more, but holy hell, is it just annoying to read every single time? Far right, it's just so. The fear mongering is just so annoying. Alice Veal says UK departure is model for a country as party struggles with reaction to expose about deportation master plan. Ugh. Deportation master plan. So, if you watched the previous video a few days ago, this expose came out saying that they met up with Austrian identitarian, not even Vidal, but like people related to the AFD, met up with Selna like privately, and he was basically just going over his new book, which was called Remigration or something, which you can buy off Amazon, I'm pretty sure. And essentially, it says, yeah, we need to move people back to the countries they came from if they're essentially not assimilating. I don't think that's too big of a deal. And so Vidal hasn't come out and said anything in particular to because the part that got the real fear mongering part was them saying, "Oh well, even if you've got a passport and you're not assimilating, you're a criminal. We're going to send you back anyway." So that's a part where they did their real scaremonger tactics. So we'll go through the article. Let's see what it says. Oh, even here it says she sacked the staffer who attended the meeting. Okay, ridiculous. The leader of Germany's far-right Alternative for Deutschland has said her party will campaign for a Brexit-style vote on EU membership if it comes to power. Okay, that's stupid. I know they're going for the idea that, oh, we need to control our own nation. I can understand them saying that, but to actually execute it, I mean, there's a lot of power. They're also the leaders of the EU. There's a lot of power with being the leader of the EU, or as seen as the leader. Calling for UK departure from the bloc, a model for its latest member. Vidal told the Financial Times in an exclusive interview that the UK decision would be dead right for Germany and that a DEXIT, a Deutschland exit, would boost the country's self-determination. Yeah, I guess it would. It's a model for Germany that one can make a sovereign decision like that, she said. It was one of the party's first public pronouncements since the beginning of a wave of nationwide protests against the AfD, triggered by revelations that leading members had attended a covert meeting at which a master plan for mass deportation of foreigners and German passport holders was discussed. What does it mean, a covert? Like it was some super secret? I mean, it was literally just like a meeting. The way they phrase this is actually so. It's actually so disgusting. Like honestly, with a view to the party implementing the plans if it came to power. Vidal called the expose scandalous and said that it misrepresented her party, which only wanted to use a law to repatriate people who had no right to remain in Germany, which literally every other party is doing right now. The SPD and the TLC, they're having the biggest deportations ever. Well, probably not ever, right? But they're having massive deportations right now. So how isn't this in line with even them? This is basically in line. So essentially, they're coming out and they're assuming the future of the AfD instead of what the AfD is actually saying and doing and presenting in its policy pieces, which is pretty much, honestly, kind of the same as every other party right now. It's like, yeah, if you're abusing the system, you gotta go. That's basically what the idea of every other party is currently. The AfD is a party that stands for enforcing this country's laws, she said. Street protests in Germany against the AfD in reaction to the revelation only grew in momentum over the weekend, with more than 1 million estimated to have participated in 90 different demonstrations across the country. All these demonstrations are we won't get into that. It's essentially like, yeah, a lot of people professionally get people together, and so anything that goes against current doctrine, they can organize very easily with large amounts of money and market it too as well. Police were forced to order at least 2 events in Hamburg and Munich to come to a premature halt due to the large numbers, with turnouts far greater than predicted either by authorities or organizers. In Berlin, where more than 100,000 braved icy winds to gather at the square in front of the Reichstag Parliament building, a march due to move through the government quarter was called off because of the sheer number of people. Wedel, a former investment banker who had led the party since 2022, said that before moving to a DEXIT referendum, an AfD-led government would aim to reform the European Union and do away with its democratic deficit. Democratic deficit. By, among other things, reducing the powers of the European Commission and unelected executive. If a reform is impossible, if we fail to rebuild the sovereignty of the EU member states, we should let the people decide, just as Britain did, she said. And we could have a referendum on DEXIT, a German exit from the EU. It will fail. 100% it will most likely fail, I reckon. Imagine if it didn't fail. Fuck. That would suck. I mean, at least it'd be interesting, but yeah, that'd be curious. It would be worse for Europe, definitely. Europe really does need to come together under Germany and be able to work things out. Let's see. The AfD is currently enjoying its highest standing in the polls since its formation in 2013. It is between 20% and 23% on a federal level, ahead of all 3 of the parties which make up the Chancellor Olaf Scholz beleaguered. What is that word? I've never seen that word in my life. Coalition. In 3 eastern states where elections are due to take place in the autumn, it is scoring in the 30s, with around 36% in Thuringia and overshadowing the mainstream parties, but is being kept out of power by other parties ruling out any form of coalition with the party. Because of that, the AfD is not in power in any of the country's 16 states. So essentially, the other party is able to form a coalition in states and essentially get it out. So they need to get over, need to make a deal, or they need to get over 50%. They need to get 51%. Where were we? Germany public support for membership of the EU is very high, with recent polls showing it is around 80%. Yeah, I would think so. It is weakest among AfD voters, however, but the ambition, the fact Wedel is willing to express it points to the fact the AfD goals are very long term, with political scientists often referring to the party's extreme patience about gaining power. A debate is currently underway in Germany as to whether the party could be banned on the grounds it is unconstitutional, on the back of the Domestic Intelligence Agency having classified large parts of the party as right-wing extremists and put some of its higher-ranking members under surveillance. Which is honestly a bit ridiculous. You're allowed to spy on them because, do they spy on the CDU? I know at Sullivan's thing, at this right-wing secret meeting, they had some members of the CDU as well, but you never see the CDU get talked about in these articles. It's always the AfD. What about the CDU? However, legal and political, it's not as sexy, that's why. However, legal and political because it's far right, obviously, opposition to pursuing such a ban, including from Scholz and his deputy, the eco-minister, Robert Habeck, is high due to the dangers of it backfiring and galvanizing more support for the party should it fail. Pressure is on Scholz and his government to get more a grip on the challenges currently facing Germany over Ukraine, the cost of living crisis, a skill shortage, and climate reform, all of which has been compounded by a budget crisis. Disgruntled over government management has in part helped the surge in support for the AfD, as the party has fed off the growing unease. But the AfD has struggled to contain the backlash over the revelations. Wedel was forced to sack her senior aide, Roland Hartwig, over his attendance at the meeting, which she says she knew nothing about. She did not attend herself and denies the party plans to implement the measures discussed. She has reportedly faced disagreement internally for the decision to sack Hardvig. Yeah, potentially, because it's like at this, I could see why she would sack him, but then it's like, if you need to get information from groups that are more right wing than you, it's like you need to send someone in there to gather information. Maybe she should have sent someone, if she actually was actually interested, someone who wasn't so high up. Maybe like just a normal staffer. But then more normal staffers, I guess, are more inclined to potentially dob on you or betray you. At a closed door meeting of the party leadership at the weekend, the correct IB expose was discussed briefly and intensely, according to Carsten Huta, the party treasurer and leadership member. Members decided to stay our course, as well as trying to be better and clearer in our communications, Huta told the Süddeutsche Zeitung. Another major fallout from the expose is the decision by Hans-Georg Mason at the weekend to turn his Werteunion, Union, a self-described arch-conservative grassroots movement within the CDU and its sister party, CSU, two of whose members were at the meeting, to form a new political party. Well, there you go. Mason said the party would be up and running in time for the crucial Eastern state election, and that unlike the CDU, it was prepared to work with the AfD. Friedrich Merz, the head of the CDU, said CDU-CSU members who make up the vast majority of the Werteunion Union's members would have to renounce their party membership if they join the new party. It marks a further fragmentation of the German political landscape, coming in the same month that Sarah Wagenknecht broke from the far-left Die Linke to form her new left-wing anti-immigration party. Okay, so that was the article. Essentially, Vito got some black backlash because one of her seniors was at the private meeting. She decided to sack him, but I'm just so sick of how far right, far this, far that. Jesus Christ, it's a secret, covert meeting. Like, I'm pretty sure Salna's thing was like a book tour, which is literally uploaded on Rumble. So, I mean, can't be that secret, right? And when it comes to this anti-immigration talk, literally every party is engaged in it right now because the asylum seekers or the people they have had coming in, yeah, they are essentially abusing the welfare of the country or the welfare, the free, essentially all the free money you can get. But anyway, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, follow, share, do all that. And I'll see you in the next one.